All right, everybody. Welcome to the live post-match fan reactions. I am AJ, and yes, Atlanta United knocked out in embarrassing fashion against Indy 11. Never really got it going until it was too late. Looked pretty bereft of some ideas in front of goal at times. But ultimately, yeah, the first goal was insurmountable almost. The second goal was the dagger, the own goal by Dax McCarty. So, yeah, it is definitely a really bad night for the Five Stripes. But, yeah, a game that left a lot to be desired. A chopped and changed lineup. Some people would have said that we should have maybe rested a bunch of players for the RSL match, since it was that big of a disparity. But that would have gotten even uglier. But guys, yes, if you can hear me, drop some ones in the chat to help me out here. But yeah, we will have some guests on very, very soon. First up will be Gavin, because of our Patreon highest level tier. He will be able to have his save first. But yeah, I almost literally want to talk about anything else because this game was so frustrating. And, we won't. But, Gavin, yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the ones in the chat. Yeah, a lot to talk about as well, though. It's not just this game. Caleb Wiley, it is his last game for Atl United. The news coming out that, yeah, the $11 million fee for Atl United pretty much has been accepted. Just some I's and T's that need to be dotted and crossed. But yeah, definitely, yes, Drew, that sucked. Indeed, that sucked. And for those that are wondering, that's if some people have been under a rock or haven't really been paying attention, or are saying, oh, yeah, like with the players that we've sold, well, that we're, some people saying that we're tanking this season or whatever. I mean, when you get record transfer fees for players that essentially were pretty much going anyway, and then GG, as far as that interest, especially with kind of what was going on. Boca even mentioned today in some press conferences before the match that it is hard to say no, especially when, yeah, maybe there was a little bit of some contract extension talks, but ultimately it was a deal too good to say no. And likewise, the same thing with Caleb Wiley. But yeah, Quackjack, that own goal made me double take. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely it was interesting what McCarty was trying to do. He was just trying to get a foot on it, but it was almost too good of a goal. It was a toe poke of dreams. And, yeah, ultimately very, very annoying. But yeah, Gavin, hop in here when you get the chance. Yeah, definitely come on in. But, yeah, I mean, it is that type of game that, when you have 7 players that are chopped and changed, Ronald Hernandez taking most of your set pieces. Although some of his service wasn't bad. But yeah, I mean, his marking for the first goal, keeping his player on. Yeah, it's just we got carved up on the counter. And I think it just exemplifies when we try to play with possession with inferior players, unfortunately, it's just what happens. We get torn up because, well, there was it was a simple ball to Muyamba who uh, had a really sloppy touch, and then they were off to the races. It was pretty bad in terms of how easily you get carved up. But yeah, Drew says fans in the stadium were starting to turn on the team a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you know, it might get drowned out a little bit at the Benz because there's so many fans. But when there's essentially only like, man, maybe like 2,000 people there, yeah, it's gonna be pretty loud. Start singing, please score a goal at one point. Yeah, I mean, it's not like we weren't trying as well. I mean, we just lacked the composure like we do in front of goal. But Firmino, I think, looked fairly dangerous. But that was when he actually got the chance in front of goal. There were, I think, some moments where he just, yeah, it it was essentially he was starved of a little bit of service. He did try to create his own shot at times because he's definitely a little bit more of kind of that second striker, less of a out and out striker. But when you have Tiare out as well, I mean, it's just we're depleted, injury wise. We're depleted because we're essentially, you know, selling off whoever has value at the moment, and we're gonna bring in more, which we'll talk about, you know, in tomorrow's Five Stripe Weekly when we record it. But yeah, Eddie Ruiz says our team is finished. Well, yeah, the team is finished up until, we bring in new players, and it's a mad dash to, get the season ticket holders to renew. So absolutely, they're going to replenish the coffers. Can't hear you in call. Oh. Well, let's see. Hopefully you can. Gavin, yeah, go ahead and turn on your camera there. And
I can hear you now.
fantastic. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thought I was having issues myself because I couldn't hear you, but now I can. So.
Gotcha. Well, no worry.
Oh.
So here we go. So Gavin, welcome in. Let us have your thoughts, man.
Okay. This was a terrible game. I mean, this was probably. I mean, you could say this any day. This is probably the worst I've ever seen this team play. This team, like, even if it wasn't our 11 injuries, like players that we didn't have tonight, Lennon, and we have Kamaka's gone, Almada's gone, Wiley's leaving too, but he did play tonight, the last match, and it sucked. It had to be probably the worst match we ever had. We need new people immediately, and I don't know, like we looked completely like we almost got shut out at basically our home field. We almost got shut out at home in the 11 side, who just now got their first ever MLS win, like their first ever win where they played an MLS opponent. Of course, it had to be us. Of course, it was us. It's just, of course, us. There's just this trend where it's always us with people scoring on us, like these young players, these teams getting their first ever win against us, like tonight. This is a terrible game. We need players as soon as possible. The window opens like, I don't know, the 18th or something. I just can't think about how this team's going to look whenever our replacements are injured, because it's been like that for a couple years now. Anytime we're without our main players, it, it's very telling. We are not a good team. I mean, we're DP-less, and this was embarrassing. We're being laughed at. It's just not fun to watch. Like, I did not want to watch this, and like I had a feeling this was gonna happen. Oh boy, it happened. I mean, I thought we were gonna win, obviously, because you can't lose to USL side. I thought we were done with that, but no, because we beat Memphis. Beat Memphis. We lost to Memphis last season. This one's more embarrassing than that one, because we had more stars in that one, and this one was a lot different. And we have two players, we have some starters, but we're still just not a good team, and it just sucks seeing Atlanta United like this. And I hope it changes as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean it's a long 9 days for sure until the window truly opens up. Lots of rumors going about, so there is light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, make no bones about it. You're right. I mean, it's a very bad performance. Always leaving it late. We're we're the MLS side. We should be trying to score early. We should be
Yeah.
trying to put the pressure on them. Instead, we look like a team that, it's obvious we weren't not prepared for them. We only had maybe a couple days, if a day, to really prepare for them. And yeah, I mean, we look like a side that hadn't played together, and most of those players, yeah, haven't really played together in an 11 before like that. Not with Firmino up top, not with, it's not an excuse, but it is very much, it's exactly what you're saying. When we don't have our top players, when we, and to be fair, it's really difficult for any side, any MLS side, let alone also a USL side, to do that. And this is one of the top USL sides for sure, but it doesn't make it any less embarrassing because, in any cup set, that is the case. It does not matter. You should have better players than a USL side, but I think the margins that we see with a USL side to, pretty much the bench and the squad are just poor. Like, it's just ultimately it's about the same and equal to a USL side, and yeah, it's when you compound that with players that just haven't played with each other, and our Achilles heel this season, which has been composure in front of goal. It's just it's a recipe for disaster. But yeah,
And
yeah, go on, go on.
are we sure we weren't in the 11? Are we
Yeah,
sure they weren't Atlanta United because they played better than us? And
yeah,
yeah, are we sure? Are we sure we watched? Are we sure we supported the right team tonight? Because they could have just swapped jerseys, put on some makeup or whatever. I don't even know.
yeah. I mean, it's essentially they definitely looked like the more motivated side, and with a game plan. I mean, it's basically
Mhm.
smash and grab and park the bus, which is very much what they did, and they did it to great effect because we're not a side that, with these players, good enough to break down a bus. So, it's just that it's not new problems for us or any side that's that's in a tournament. This is what a lower or a lesser team does, but yeah, I mean, it's just it doesn't make it any less frustrating to watch nor annoying to watch because I mean, it just yeah, I mean, we were just taking pop shots. Like, at one point, it was just
Yeah.
yeah, block after block after, and there was one Firmino shot with his left that, I mean, the keeper did well. In
Mhm.
traffic, it's
Yeah, and there was also a cross from, I can't remember, it might have been Dax, but Brennan had a header and it was saved by the keeper too. And those are
yeah,
probably the two good chances we had with that Firmino left-footed shot and Brennan's header.
Yeah.
Those are the two most promising chances of us actually putting one on the board before they did, or after. I think it
After.
was after. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah. It was definitely after, but
After,
I would.
of course, after.
Yeah, yeah. But I would also say Hernandez's chance at the back post too. Like that, man. You have to put that on goal, like at the very least, and it just
Yeah.
furthers.
I don't know if his body was positioned right, but still, at least try and put it on target.
Yeah.
Just putting off target, it's just you can't. I don't care what angle you're at. You just at least try and put it on frame.
Right.
If you put it off target, it's not going in. All you're doing is trying to force a corner. That's it.
Right. And I mean, is it?
Yeah.
Speaking of telling, is it not telling if our captain is Ronaldo Hernandez on the night? I mean, it's just like it's one of these things. Okay, yeah,
That's,
he has some good moments for us at times, like here and there, but he pairs that with defensive frailty more often than not, and it's just I don't know what kind of hoodoo he has on the squad, but like it's very much like Hernandez should not be captain. And yes, a lot of the other players are younger slash they're newer on the team, but it's just, ooh, like
yeah. My guess is that because he's been here for a while. I think he's been
For
here
sure.
since like 2021, I believe. And there's not many Atlanta United players from 2021 anymore.
oh for sure.
Because years passing, we just keep rebuilding. We just
Right.
keep rebuilding.
The
The only player we have from like the beginning is Guzan, I believe.
yeah
There's no
now
one else still here.
yeah the real question is how has he survived that long? It's just that's the baffling question, and it I think exemplifies what's going on with the club when Ronald Hernandez is your secondary captain. I mean, it's just it's. But let's get into the chat. Uzumaki Leon says that was awesome. OMG, so fun. Yes, the sarcasm is rife there. Jack Dickens says it's simple to me. There's no quality in this team going forward. Absolutely none. With that, there's no game changers. Yeah, our game changers are we've sold them. So possibly with Saba. I mean, it's interesting that there was no Silva on the bench. There was no, I'm trying to think who our other forwards are, but we're really short in the forward department. Jack Dickens says, but even so, should still be beating Farmers. Yep. Connor Watson says, sad days we are in. Chris James says, look like a bad preseason match. You're absolutely right there. Chris James says, I hate to say this. This was the first time I turned a game off at halftime. Lucky you.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Lucky you. But, the caller 7 says, we sold our two main goal scorers. It's no surprise we aren't scoring goals. Well, even before that, we weren't really scoring goals either. So, Almada sort of started turning it on before he left. But, and then Gigi was out for so long that, we forgot we had a goal scorer.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin B says, do other teams even want Hernandez? Like a captain I feel like should be somebody that yes, should also be wanted by other
somebody.
teams. Yeah.
Maybe Atlanta United too. Send him to the twos. It'd be good.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. It's if he goes to the twos, well, he's just taking up a spot from somebody else that would be able to, become a better player than he is. I mean,
yeah, I'm just answering the question. Any other team that wants him is Atlanta United too.
Yeah. This isn't a show to just bash on Ronaldo Hernandez, but it is an exemplification of our perils, our just issues, and I think, it's more about the front office more than anything. But, I mean, what do you think Rob Valentino can maybe pull from this match to possibly keep these boys kind of just motivated, on on a path moving forward.
Motivation speeches. Keep their heads up. Limit them from social media because I saw someone comment on Dex McCarty's Instagram page saying, "Oh, you're so foolish," and I'm like, "Dude, cut the shit. You're doing nothing better. You're just making it worse." Like,
Yeah, that is
people are
not.
gonna go wild on social media.
Yeah.
I haven't even checked social media yet. I'm just playing. I'm just doing a home run derby with my friend on MLB The Show. I'm not even bothering checking the social media right now. I'm not. At this point, I've kind of just stopped completely caring as much as I usually do because I'm aware this team is probably not going to make it anywhere much. We're definitely not going to win a trophy this season. And there was a shot at that. It was this tournament, and we just let Indy 11 and beat us.
Yep.
So
It absolutely was the best opportunity for sure. I mean, and that's the saddest part is that,
yeah.
a USL side that should be beaten. I mean, it's a. Do you feel like it's mismanagement? Should we have rested our starters against RSL?
Um, I would say maybe you could bring Saba back maybe. It depends on what Valentino thinks, obviously. But what I think, like maybe keep Saba off because you can keep. Well, it depends. Well, Jande with fitness, so keep Jande in. Maybe just I would say we maybe could arrest Saba, but he played either way in this game. I mean, who do we miss? We were missing Jande and Lennon, right? I
Silva,
feel
and then
like
also Rios. Obviously, he didn't he didn't play
Rios
really
came in
until
later,
exactly, and
but
so.
Rios, I mean, he's not. I mean,
But that was the
well,
thing,
I feel like most players came off a lot later in the RSL match. I don't think that was managed that well because, I mean, obviously you have to try and win the game no matter what.
Yeah.
But I didn't see us winning the RSL match even when it was tied. I knew they were still going to win that game. But this game, I mean, I don't know. We're just not good. I feel like even with or without our other players, I don't know if there would have been a difference. The only question to me is if the own goal on McCarty, if that never happened, I wonder if he would have tied the game. Because that was unfortunate. But the way I saw it on the replay, it's like he didn't even care. He wanted to clear it, but he just cleared it into the own net. So
Yeah.
that was unfortunate, but it was also kind of stupid looking at the same time. So like, I feel like that's the main question. But the own goal happened, and it happened, and we lost. We did score late, but the own goal happened, and that's why we lost. So
Yeah, and they were brave to throw him in forward, and you put it in the mixer. You never know what's going to happen. I feel like maybe there should have been a foul before to really prevent them from even, you know, getting there. And yeah, you take the yellow. You do some of the dark arts to kind of really make sure you're still in the match, because yes, those type of things, when if they do happen, or if yeah, it's like that just that second goal is just so important. And so yes, you foul them near the halfway line, whatever, like you take the yellow, you move on. It's just a little less of a stab in the in the chest. But yeah, I mean, I asked that in jest about RSL that match, because it's like we were, pretty much still in the match, in the first half, and yeah, you still want to try to prioritize those results, because I mean, he's ultimately judged on his ability to coach MLS matches. I mean, the cup games, it's like, yeah, it's still pretty difficult for him to win it, because yes, he's always going to have to rotate, so he's not going to be looked at as kind of, I guess, sternly as in MLS. So it's tough. It's just it's one of those, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. And it just didn't pan out for him when he made that many changes. But yeah, Kevin, final thoughts?
Yeah. I feel like if there was ever a slim chance that Valentino would be our full head coach, then I feel like that's been completely squashed tonight.
Mm.
Because I mean, he was he was given a tough task. I mean, it's hard to win games with this team, and if you're gonna lose to another USL side, I mean, there's not much you can do with it. I get it, but I just if there was ever a slim chance that he'd be the guy, he's not.
Mm.
We'll see what happens, but I don't think he'll be the. I mean, people say he. I mean, he was our interim head coach in 2021. He did well. Um, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be the guy if there was ever a slim chance.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's this. I mean, it's like, or maybe conversely, I'll rephrase this. I mean, off of, you know, a couple of results that, basically the best players have exited. Do you feel like that's a bit harsh for Valentino? Like, Pineda got those chances pretty much with, at times, but Valentino, arguably has pulled off some results that
Yeah,
maybe
man.
Pineda
Like,
hasn't been able to, and
yeah,
that in itself might be interesting as food for thought of, okay, well, if you gave Pineda a chance, you know, does Valentino deserve a chance, or is he being hard done by? He essentially has zero DPS at the moment. I mean, Steven Gregerson is in and out of the squad, and on almost like minutes management. So it's almost just like, okay,
yeah,
it's operating like 2.5 DPS at the moment, or 2.5 DP open slots. But yeah, it's tough. It's like Valentino, he's got it all
yeah,
to do to win the job. That much is a given. But
yeah. I get it, but how I view it, like with the way this team looks,
mm,
I get it. It's a hard job, but if you want him to be the coach going forward, how I view that is that you don't lose these USL games, well, USL Cup matches to a USL side. You don't lose those. You actually win games, but it's hard to do that. But if there's ever something that he could have done, then I mean, you just can't lose games like this. You got to win more. I mean, we were on an unbeaten streak. I mean, I get that. But if you're going to lose the USL side, I mean, you still can't do that.
mm. Connor Watson says, I think it's hard for an interim coach to remove guys from a game you're still in. I think this also lets me know how the surrounding of the cup, how the surrounding of the cup. I'm not sure I understand the that last sentence, but
I don't
uh,
understand that either.
but yeah, the removing of players. Well, I think it's more this. I think mentioning that sitting guys for the RSL match, and really going for the cup. But that's difficult, like we just mentioned. That's I think benching your guys. Yes, that's a little easier maybe than the pulling guys out of a match early. Like that's gonna upset your players. That's also gonna just bring all sorts of questions. That's the coach doesn't really probably wants to be under fire for. But yeah, you know. Gavin, yeah, I know I already said final thoughts, but yeah, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I got I thought of 3 star players like you'd ask at times.
Yeah,
If I were to think of them, I'd say Brennan, maybe Firmino got the goal, and Gregerson because he did well. He got a knock earlier in the game. I think his like mouth was bleeding or something. He got a
yeah,
cut somewhere, but he was still doing well.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's all I can think of with good players. You're the goal
Yeah,
scorer. Brennan looked all right when he got subbed on, and Stian did well throughout the
yeah,
entire game, even though he
mm-hmm.
still conceded. But that was Fernandez's fault, and then an unfortunate own goal.
Right. So yeah,
But still, that's the only way I could think of stars.
yeah, indeed.
Stars, quote unquote, stars for this match.
Right. I mean, yeah,
Yep.
I agree. Brennan, when he comes on, he looks like a man possessed trying to prove himself. And he puts good balls in. He gets scoring chances. He looks to make things happen. I mean, it's just, yeah, the man deserves more looks. And, it's, if he can sustain that for an entire 90 minutes, I mean, it just, yeah. Like, he already, as far as quality, as far as the types of chances and service and all that, he's better than Mascara, in my opinion, and that's
Yeah, I was about to say he looks better than Tyler Wolf too. Not just
yeah.
Mosquera, but he looks better than Tyler Wolf.
Oh yeah,
He definitely needs more looking into. He needs more playing time, and he really needs that.
yeah,
We lose him.
yeah. I mean that, but it's also this, the cynics. There we go. Oh my god, yeah, just had a brain fart moment. The cynics say though, okay, yeah, you're gonna give playing time to this player. He's gonna do really really well, and then he's gonna get sold. I mean, it's just like, okay, like, that might happen, but yeah, you enjoy the time that they're here. Because, unfortunately, what it is, MLS, it's a selling league. And, yeah, if you have a good player, there's going to be offers you can't refuse. And, especially with the players themselves, it's going to be an offer they can't refuse until MLS tries to figure it out and it becomes a top league, which it might take some
Getting
time.
there. We're getting there.
Getting there, but it might take
I mean,
some
we
time.
got Messi, Suarez.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the two players that can definitely bring this league up high levels. I think it's definitely a league better than it was because MLS is a lot harder to play in. 'Cause I'm not saying it was ever easy. Like, we won MLS Cup in 2018. It wasn't as hard, but now it's gotten a lot better as a league because it gets more competitive and it's harder to play in. Like the Premier League, Europe, it's not easy to play there, and I feel like MLS is definitely getting there, and it's getting harder to play in MLS.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's basically, Inter Miami, a really good side, yes, without Messi, but they just got slapped up 6-1. It's,
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, without Messi, without Suarez, yeah, you can't lose 6-1 at Cincinnati.
Yeah, but it's also without Messi, without Suarez. But anyway, yeah, we digress. But yeah, Gavin, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
man.
one more thing about that. Miami without Messi, it reminds me of like us without Almada and Giacomakis. Suarez, Almada, Messi. It's like without those players, nothing.
Yep, it very much is. Agreed. It's just symptoms of MLS, unfortunately. But yep, Gavin, have a great rest of your night, and yeah, we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, man. See ya.
All right, thanks. See you soon. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Anyway. All right. If I can get this thing to work here. It's not transitioning over. Okay. Fun times. Fun times. All right. Is it frozen? There we go. There we go. Okay. I don't know if there's like remnants of the other shot there, but we'll see. All right, here we go. All right. But yeah, if you guys have some more things in the chat, hop in there. But Connor, you are next, so hop in. But yeah, so it is as well. I mean, we're saying Brennan needs more playing time, and I think, yeah, it's a wonder where he would really play too, though, because that's the thing. You have Saba, who's probably our best player at the moment. Shanda Silva, who has scored, I believe, 2 goals in 5 games, has some other goal involvements. I mean, possibly should be the first one off the bench as far as a winger. Tyler Wolff, yes, maybe is a slightly more senior player, maybe and possibly a little bit, defensively, offers a little bit more. But yeah, to not get the start tonight, man, like I'm not really sure what Wolf really provided. So it's definitely a question for sure. But Connor is in, and
Whoa.
let us have your thoughts.
Well, coming into the game, looking at the team sheet, I wasn't really expecting much. Didn't really get much. I mean, I would say I'm disappointed, but honestly, I didn't really. Whenever you're putting that team out, even against the USL team, I mean, I don't really think it's good enough even for that, to be honest. I mean, kind of just the state of the club right now. I mean, if we're looking at statistics, I mean, we kind of dominated the game most of it. They countered us. They scored goals. We didn't. I mean, basically, they executed a game plan. We didn't. I mean, if you look at it that way, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it very much is. They looked to score a goal early and then sit, and they did that to great effect. And especially for a side that is one of the better sides in USL, so they're used to actually being on top and you know very much not sitting. But yeah, they like people like to say they suffered well, and yeah, we were unable to break down that sitting bus, and it's not like I mentioned a new problem for many teams, but
oh yeah.
but as far as kind of maybe the things that you saw that maybe can carry over, were there anything from you know
Honestly, I mean, a Johnny looked pretty decent. Johnny Fortune, he looked pretty good. I was one of the few players out there like that I actually was like, this guy can play around these people and he can move, or that actually looks like a player that would like that actually looked like an MLS player almost playing against the USL team, which I thought was funny as he's not a starter for us. Saba turned on towards the end of the first half. I thought he looked okay then. Defensively, everyone was pretty meh. I thought Tristan gave away the ball right in the that very first goal. His giveaway led to that goal, in my opinion, and I was really like, it's starting. The more that I watch him play, the less I think that he's like a first team player for us. Honestly, it's becoming very disappointing. So I don't really know where we're gonna go with that. I mean, Wiley looked okay. It's kind of, I mean, came off in the 60th minute, I think. I mean, I would kind of hope he did a little bit better going forward, but otherwise, I mean, other than that, I thought he was okay today. Kind of everything that he's been so far. Brennan looked good. I kind of wish we would bring him on more often. His rating doesn't look particularly any good, but I thought he actually looked to attack, which most of the other players in this game, they looked to attack, but they didn't look to run at a defender. They didn't look to take him on. They just looked to kind of move it sideways, and then once it opens, they didn't create the opportunity. They waited for it, which, I mean, I understand when you have so much possession, you have to do that. But whenever you're losing 2-0 to a USL team, or you're losing 1-0, like, you got to take on the person. You got to make the chance, which was really frustrating today. But
and that's
other than that,
I mean, yeah, I'm agreeing with you. It's why the player ratings are kind of problematic as far as if you go on SofaScore or Who Scored or wherever, Opta, because yes, I mean, there are it's when you keep possession, you have a better passing accuracy, and it does kind of weigh the key passes and kind of danger of what you're trying to do, but it still doesn't, I think, get the nuances. And I think that's something maybe they can, stat people can figure out a little bit more. But it is, yeah, that where, he was looking to take people on. He was getting into scoring position. He was getting, balls in. And that's the thing. It's like that ball to Ronald Hernandez, he should have put it at least on goal. That makes it look worse a little bit. That,
Yep.
it is a key pass, but he should have had an assist. There should have been a goal. And so it's various things like that. And yes, his miss also, docks it against him as well. But your right winger getting into pretty much the striker position, I think that's something that should be lauded as well. I mean, he ghosted into space and was able to get a free header. I mean, that's, you know, at his young age, that's, I mean, he's definitely
It's very promising.
exactly looking to make things happen a lot more than the, the senior players on the team. But, and maybe it's that youthful exuberance and, the,
Yeah.
the ability to be like just uber positive and not have not being jaded because I've seen this movie play out before, so it's the veterans. Maybe it's not always that. Some of the youthful exuberance maybe is useful and can be harnessed, but yeah. So I mean, as far as I agree with what you're saying as far as the players that showed the promise. Fortune. Just oftentimes does look like the more athletic, mobile,
Yep.
energetic player that is the engine. Um, and yeah, it's Muyamba. It's this. I, I think he has like three good games and then one bad game, and it's like just this cycle of kind of uh, where he has a lot of promise, and when he's playing with good players, I think he looks always a lot better, but possibly down tools a little bit when it's a little bit of a chopped side. So yeah, it's I think the jury's still out on Muyamba. I
Yeah.
think because he's an 8, he does need to have some more goal involvements, and maybe maybe the book got out on him a little bit, and because his half season when he first came in last year, it was like, oh wow, this was the answer that we really needed in midfield, but yeah, it seems like to a degree the book is out on him at the moment, and it's on him to adjust a little bit to see if he can, kind of quell any of the concerns that I'm sure not only us have for him. Because if I were the coaching staff in the front office, I'd be looking to probably see how well he's truly going to be doing, or upgrade him, and get somebody else that's better. So, yeah, for sure,
I have a question for you on him.
sure.
Would you? I kind of am of the opinion that his best games and his best moments come from us in transition attacking another team that's in transition.
Hmm.
So I almost don't feel like a possession side is what he needs to be in.
Hmm.
Like, he turns over the ball a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes because he's trying to move forward a lot, and I understand that, but it's also his best moments, at least in my opinion, are come whenever he gets the defender on the spin, or he kind of gets the midfielder on the spin, and he takes the ball and then he releases a pass into a person into space, or that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
he's not the best whenever the defenders are sitting off him. He's best whenever they're coming at him and he needs to attack and move forward with the ball.
Hmm.
And possession-wise, I don't know if that's the best for him.
Yeah.
That's just what I think. So,
Yeah. I
it'd be
mean,
interesting.
I think it's. I agree with you, but it also is in possession. I mean, tonight, his gaff was more a loose touch, and
Yep.
that was his undoing. But as far as yeah, when a team is sitting off of him and giving him the space to dictate, I feel like he is pretty good in tight spaces, and he was trying
Yeah.
to. I think his ability to roam as that 8 a little bit, and get into kind of just different spots that might confuse the defense, is probably one of his greatest strengths, because tonight he popped up on the left side, took his man on, was able to fire across in the 6, and it could have been dangerous if a player had gotten on the end of it properly. And I think his ability to on attack do things that I think many of our other 8s weren't. I think I could commend him for that. I think I can live with the bit of turnovers because he's trying to make things happen. I think his weaknesses, I think, are probably concentration, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things where defensively at times, that's especially, I would say, on the road, that's where there were times that it was like, oh, Muyumba's like Jekyll and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. The other way around, Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Hyde. No, still Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Hyde. I have no idea. I'm just exhausted. So
I think that's right.
Either way, you guys know what I mean. And
Yeah.
essentially, like, him on the road for us a little bit at times has been a crapshoot. And for whatever it is, it just seems like he's less switched on. And because I feel like he's got the ability for a lot of what we need, sans maybe the absolute kind of goal scoring ability, if you're looking for that from a number 8. And yeah, I think if we're looking for that, which I think would improve the team immensely, that would be something incredible. I think you can live with the other things, maybe less possession, less those type of things, or it's like maybe it's another player that is just so good on the ball. And I'm kind of more saying kind of a Darlington Nagby type of player. It's
Yeah.
you don't need the goals from him then, because it's just he keeps things ticking so well that it's just the security in possession is just that immense. But yeah, I think it is that no player is perfect, but Muyumba, yeah, he's left some performances to be desired, and it's becoming a little bit more of a norm too. So yeah, agreed. But yeah, Connor, final thoughts.
Well, hopefully we sign some players, like I think we've all been saying. But I mean, going forward, I was interested whenever y'all talking about like this game probably means that Rob is not getting the job. Honestly, I think if you're taking this game into it, that like if this is like the point that you're saying that he is not the guy that's going to take this job, I think your whole entire evaluation of what the next manager should just be out the window. Like I find it hard to believe that you're gonna take the players that are available for this game, because I'm assuming that a lot of the people that weren't available were because of minutes, numbers, a lot of other reasons, not because he didn't want them, but because they've played so much that they're not available. If like this is the game that broke like the chance of him being the manager, I find that's just crazy to me if that's the case. But I mean, I don't think this game they're taking into account really much. I mean, we didn't look good. Honestly, I didn't really think we had a great plan out there. But also, I don't know how you could create a great plan whenever I don't even know how often these people are getting game time together. They're playing together. They're getting in with the coach every single day. Like, they're not a part of everyday plans. So I think it's very hard to formulate a great game plan going into this anyway. So
Yeah, and yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's the fixture congestion as well, where it's basically, I mean, you had a match on Wednesday, and then you had a match on Saturday, and then you have a match on Tuesday. So really, how much time do you have to prepare for each game? And especially with those players, yeah, that they basically don't really have any time together as a starting 11. It's just incredibly difficult. Like, it's just he has it all to do. So that at the very least, yes, are reasons. Does it make it suck any less? No, but it's yeah, it is. You know, I think a fair shot for Valentino would be he has all three DPs, and he gets a run of games that basically show his ability to not only procure a system, but also, adversity, how he adjusts to that adversity, and basically how he can continue to motivate the players. And so, if he can show that with a fair shot, I think that's probably the best way that we'd be able to say, okay, yes, Valentino, you know, this is all like we weren't unfair to you, and
yeah,
it is. That's the thing. To a degree, I feel like Atlanta United is using Rob Valentino, and it's like it's good and bad. Obviously, it's like yes, it's giving Valentino the opportunity to learn on the job, to especially with he's got essentially two assistant coaches, and also a goalkeeper coach. So everybody else is like not official. He doesn't even really have a full staff yet. A bunch of factors of if you have a full just assistants and video people, all that, this match congestion won't really be as big of a deal if you can be firing on all cylinders. But it's kind of the perils.
It's like almost if he doesn't come out of this getting some sort of head coaching job, I almost feel like if it's not with us for like at least a little bit more time, or if it's not with like another team, I would feel very like, I think that would be very harsh for him, and I think that's very harsh for like what he's done for us. If we don't give him, if he doesn't get another job, or if we don't give him like at least until the end of the season, honestly, like I think if he doesn't go and get a head coaching job straight after this, I would feel very bad for him because of the amount of stress we're putting him under right now, and the amount of work that I honestly think he's doing to just do what he's done so far.
Yeah.
But
okay. I mean, I definitely agree, but just to throw a wrench into this, say Jurgen Klopp says yes to Atlanta United. I mean, do you say yes, or do you give Valentino some more time?
Okay, so I think I'm gonna think of this in kind of a weird way, but I think if I am, this is just kind of me. I think if I'm Valentino and Jurgen Klopp says yes to Atlanta United, you almost have to be like, this opportunity for y'all is some like this. I almost want to be a part of this, like, because getting to be in the part of a coaching staff that has Rob Valentino under Jurgen Klopp, I think that would be amazing for him and the club. So I honestly, I think for both worlds, that almost would be very good. But I mean, I personally, I would really want him. So I mean,
yeah. I mean, and substitute a very, very good coach, in that. Yeah. It's probably still the same answer. I mean, it's Valentino probably would still want to learn from some of the best coaches,
Yeah.
and then apply his trade elsewhere if that is the case.
It's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of what I've said that Pineda needs to do whenever he left, and like, I think he needs to go and get outside of just North America and see how some of these other people operate, because I thought one of his downfalls was not being able to change and develop. Like he was so stuck in on this one thing. I think he needs to kind of broaden away from just North America. He needs to go to some of these other managers and look at them and kind of develop how he wants to play a little bit more, because I think he can be really good in the future. I just don't think it was right now.
Yeah.
So I think it would be, if you get underneath a good manager, because I'm not saying that like in Seattle it wasn't a really good situation, because it clearly was. They had really good success, but you need an outside picture from just that. You need something else to like base your going forward off of, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's basically this. It's his management. I don't think was really ever in question. It's the it's the tactics. It's the his ability to win on the road, that type of thing. And you have coaches like Chris Armas who coached at was an assistant I think to Ralph Rangnick and at Manchester United. That type of thing where it's like have the humbleness, the humility to basically be an assistant again and learn more of your trade if that's what you really are trying to do. It's not everyone has the linear path of success. And so look at it now. Chris Armas is back in the league. He's coaching, I believe, the Rapids. And so it's
I've been watching it look good.
Yeah, exactly.
I've really been enjoying it. I watched them on when they play Saturday or Sunday. Was it after our game or before? I watched them one day, and I watched them 2 weeks in a row, and I was very impressed.
Right.
I was, especially without Georgi Mihailovic, I was like, okay, I see y'all.
Yeah,
So,
and that's really what it is. It's like, without the star players, he's able to get them to perform. It's the man is learning from his mistakes, and ultimately the biggest mistake was against us. But still, it's something that I commend for him. And
sometimes we do that, man. Sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got to get back to that. That's the thing.
Hopefully.
But
Someday.
But yeah. So Connor, thank you so much as always. Always a pleasure, man.
Thank you. See you guys.
All right, man. Cheers. All right, Niall, if you're out there, hop on in. But you guys a little bit dormant in this chat. Let us know your thoughts. But it's definitely. I mean, this is like many of you are saying, and like we've been saying, the best opportunity for us for silverware this season. And Leagues Cup, that's the cream of the crop. That's probably the hardest competition because MLS itself, besides the Supporter Shield is a different thing. I think that's a little bit more luck based to some degree. It does benefit the teams that probably are the deepest, or have a really settled style of play. But the MLS Cup playoffs are always a crapshoot, and the best team doesn't always win. Although last season, I think with Columbus Crew, I think it was pretty clear that they were the best team, and it LA United going anywhere in the playoffs. I mean, we have to really restock. We really have to retool to play an incredible second half, and possibly as well have a deep run in Leagues Cup in order to to really kind of turn around a little bit of that. But Connor Watson says, "Oh, I do have a question. Do you think the young guys around the team deserve or should get more time?" Yeah, it's definitely interesting with that because it's like with other sports, like, oh, okay, if we're tanking, just play the kids. But I think it's also to a degree you have these starters on the team that are making a lot of money. They came here to play. They didn't come here to sit behind kind of youngsters that are still learning their craft. Now, if the youngster definitely and just without a question is outperforming the starter, then hell yeah. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. But like right now, I don't think Brennan starts over Sabalabzanidze. Fortune possibly has a shout over Muyumba if he can be a little bit tidier in possession. But yes, there could be a shout that if he can pair well with Schleich, could be a possibility. Yeah, I mean, on the left side, that's really a question. Silva, I mean, you have a whole slew of just who's his competition. I mean, Brennan doesn't really play on the left. If he did, it'd be a whole different story. I feel like he might be able to. Connor also says, in my opinion, the guys like Brennan and Edwards need to get more time, but outside of that, I don't see anyone I think deserving. I mean, yeah, Edwards, a fullback, over Lennon, that's tough too. I mean, I think Edwards would really have to show that his defending is just very stout, more stout than Lennon, and can provide a little bit more service. Because, well, right now as well, Lennon is our lone guy taking set pieces. So, yeah, I mean, Saba, I think, tonight, but Saba over Lennon, not sure. So, it's like you do lose a bit of quality on the ball. And, yeah, it's, with all things equal as well, in the back, I mean, you have, Abram, Gregerson, Williams, Morales, Cobb. Do they start over them? I mean, that's tough to say. They're both developing, but they are getting a lot of looks. It's a good mix of the youngsters and the veterans at this point. I think it's good experience either way for them right now. They should be getting experience with some veterans, because this sport is unlike a lot of other sports where if you have all kind of youngsters, you can kind of if the talent wins out, the veteran presence possibly doesn't exactly matter at times. But for I think for football, it's you do have to have those veteran heads that can keep you cool, keep you knowing where you need to be. The experience really does matter. And some of these kids, if they don't have someone that can show them the ropes on the pitch, it's a little bit difficult to develop properly. But Mo Bamba says, IYHO, does it look like we have another 11 loss streak going forward? It was never a 11 loss streak, it was just 11 winless. But I don't think so. I think as far as streaking goes, to me, it looks like Valentino has a little bit more of the ability to get his team on the right track after a loss. Obviously, yeah, I mean, given some time. The problem is when you have so many matches in a row, it just makes it really, really difficult. Connor says as well, Edwards, I say, because I think Lennon needs rotation. Maybe not a start, but finishing out a match. Yeah, I mean, especially if Edwards, like I mentioned, can be a little bit more stout defensively, then okay. But, you know, that's the thing. Like, Lennon, while he's not spectacular defensively, he's probably still a lot more experienced than Edwards. Oh, I think that means in your honest opinion. Gotcha. I have never seen IYHO. I think IMHO, yes, for sure, but yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I mean, Niall, yeah, if you're out there, hop on in. Let me check my my Discord to see if he said anything, but nope. But anyway, then, yeah, if he is not gonna hop in, I will pretty much conclude it here then. But yeah, I mean, guys, it's a rough one tonight, and yeah, I mean, as always, definitely appreciate you guys for hanging out, lamenting, you know, this free therapy for everyone. It definitely is, yeah, something that's it was always going to get worse before it got better, especially when you sell off DPs, when you sell off your most promising youngster. It's you know, it's a long 9 days, like I said, ahead of us, but new players might be coming in, and yeah, hopefully, you know, with a little bit of a break, with possibly, you know, some more training underneath Rob Valentino and him being able to implement his ideas, hopefully, you know, the squad will improve. But Connor says, yeah, never seen that. Just my only thought it could be. Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, that's why it was so confusing for me. I was like, the why is completely throwing this off for me. But yeah, I mean, it's this. Rob Valentino hasn't even been given the time for, you know, a little bit of just training sessions. He's basically just having to kind of pick an 11 and go, and make adjustments during a match and be judged by that without even really fully being able to, you know, implement ideas, to, you know, just really dig in to make sure that, you know, his charges know what he even wants to do. And that part's tough. But, you know, tonight, it's definitely a really rough night for Atlanta United fans. And I would suggest, yeah, staying off of Indie 11 Twitter, because not great. That's probably some parts that are gonna be very unfun. But yeah, guys, yeah, if you have any other thoughts before I will hop out then, and yeah, hopefully you guys, you know, go watch a comedy, go you know, watch your favorite film, get this taste out of your mouths, because it's, you know, I don't know, go for a walk, something, drink your sorrows away, I don't know, but either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. Much love to you all, and remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Good night.